Greetings, BlazeLeeDragon here. So, a little while back I had received an email from YouTube, and it was talking about wouldn't the world be a better place if it was run by YouTube creators? We think so too. That's why we're expanding our YouTube Creators for Change program around the globe. Take a look at how our ambassadors are spreading love and taking on the status quo. Over the next few months, 47 ambassadors in over a dozen countries will kick off projects to tackle topics like hate speech, xenophobia, and extremism. So I felt a little bit inspired to talk about this. Not only to talk about this specifically for YouTube doing it, but I've been on YouTube for a while now, and I have had a series of very positive comments. People have thanked me for some of my videos. They've encouraged me. They've said, I find these great. I find these helpful. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And I've also had some constructive criticism, which I also greatly appreciate, where they'll mention, some of your facts may have been incorrect or misguided. So here's some references or here's some things that I would consider. And, those types of comments are both welcome. I don't expect everyone to agree with every single thing that I say or put out there. And I don't expect every person to like everything that I put out there. However, I've also had a fair share of comments that are just straight up nasty. Just people being absolutely rude. Just bashing comments of being full of shit or ugly or this person doesn't know what they're talking about or waste of time or idiot or he's evil or whatever the case may be. And it got me thinking, why? Why are so many people being so hateful? And this is not necessarily just comments directed at myself, but as I watch other YouTube creators and other people out there that are posting videos or on forums or just online in general, things that go out there, people are being so negative and cruel and hateful towards each other. What happened to society where it became acceptable to be such an asshole to one another? I don't understand what would encourage somebody to be that way towards another person. I can understand sharing your thoughts, but I think that there is a way to do so in a positive, creative, or constructive manner. I'm just flabbergasted. Actually, I even recently changed it to where comments couldn't be left without approval just because some of the more nasty comments, I'm just like, no. It's like, that's fine if you don't like or agree, but to word it in such a hurtful or hateful way, just what is your end goal? I don't get that. I particularly have gotten mad when I have seen some of these people attacking some other videos that are out there. They've gotten way worse than anything I've ever seen on my channel. And I'm just like, how can you be that way towards that person? This person puts themselves out there. They're making these videos to try to be helpful, to give you free information or just share their thoughts and opinions. How can you be so nasty towards them? You see this a lot with Twitch streamers too. I see anyone who is standing out as being different, anybody who is majorly successful. I see a lot of women get attacked just for being women in front of the camera, like, oh, they're just trying to sell the fact of them being a cute girl or something, and they have no content. I've seen people, they'll talk about spirituality or religion or something like that, and, they're evil or weird or abnormal or just trying to get attention, or they just don't know what they're talking about. It's particularly like a lot of the videos that I have on this channel, most of them are around spirituality, and I'll get some of these comments that are talking about just like, oh, you're completely wrong. I'm putting these videos out there because I've been researching and looking at stuff all the way back since 1995. Like, I still in freaking high school just started saying, hey, the way I was raised didn't work for me. So I'm going to start looking on my own. So go out there and check some stuff out and do some reading and research, go to fairs and conventions and gatherings and talking with other individuals, getting on forums and other YouTube creators and reading books and books and books and books. reading online articles, watching other videos, the History Channel, documentaries, going to the museum. There's just so much out there, and there's so much to sort through that I was thinking, wow, if I would have had or been told about this word or concept or thought, I could have saved myself so much time. And then I posted my first video on YouTube, which was actually me doing a trick, a magic trick, an illusion. And I was like, that was kind of fun. And I started talking about some of the stuff that I was researching at the time, and I got some pretty good feedback. And I'm like, okay, you know, maybe this is a way that I can help someone out there to kind of maybe refocus some of their study, maybe giving them something new to think about and consider. So when I've tried to make my videos, I'll try to say stuff, in my opinion, from my research, or there are certain sources that say, and I try to be vague like that because a lot of these spiritualities are a revival movement. They're an attempt to retouch with our ancestors and our past, to honor where we have come from. So a lot of the concepts are not necessarily concrete. They might vary in practice from person to person or from culture to culture, or all it takes is one person making a claim and a couple people doing it for a few generations, and you don't know the original origin of that claim. And we have that a lot in revival movements. People aren't going to these old revival movements because they're just doing it to do it. There's tons of reasons to go back there, but it's because they feel like something's missing, or they want to get back in touch with their ancient roots. They want to have some sort of a connection, so they try to find something that feels right. And to attack these people that get on here to try to share that with you. People will do these rituals and these ceremonies for people to see, or they'll introduce their concepts, and people will straight up go after them, talking at them and how they're wrong and blah, 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 blah. It's like, if you had a different experience, or you've had different knowledge, or you've practiced in a different way, or you've read different stuff, or you don't know where they're coming from, to attack people with such negativity and violence and aggression, why? Just, they're sharing. Hear them out. I'm putting this stuff out here when people, and like I said, not everybody attacks me. I actually do get pretty good positive feedback. I'm putting this stuff out here for you guys, as this is stuff that I've run across. Doesn't mean it's 100% accurate. I know that. I've expressed that before. I'm expressing it again now. I even encourage people to go and research beyond my videos. Let this be an introduction or an inspiration for you to go and continue your research. I also like the idea of putting videos out here like this, specifically on the spirituality, going along this idea of hate speech. I don't want you, as an individual, as a viewer, as a person, as a human being, to feel that you're alone. If you feel this drive to want to connect with your ancestors or older paths, or just re-explore the whole concept of divinity and spirituality and how we can connect with it, I want to encourage you to do it. I want you to see these comments of other people like yourself that are interested in walking these paths that our ancestors have walked before us. I want you to realize that you are not different or weird or should be ostracized. You should not be attacked. You should not be centered out for being different. But I also want to encourage you, on the flip side of that, not to go out and to attack the other individuals who are perhaps monotheistic or atheists that don't agree with you. Hate and violence and aggression is something that is fueled both ways. And yes, it is so hard to constantly be attacked and to feel like to just brush it off. Turning the other cheek, so to speak. There's only two cheeks. You can only turn twice, and at that point, what do? Lunge back out? No, let's move beyond that. Let's take ourselves away from this violent cycle of reacting back and forth. There are people out there that they've been attacked before, and then they'll turn around and attack. I remember a situation way back in the day. The chat rooms were extremely popular, and I had gotten into a spiritual chat room. And of course, obviously, I was going for the polytheistic ones to speak with other individuals who want to look at some of the history of where some of the spirituality had come from, some of the older paths. And they're pretty good, pretty fun. Well, I decided to jump into some monotheistic Christian ones, not because I necessarily wanted to attack or cause conflict there. I wanted to hear where people are coming from. Even to this day, I like to talk to people of any path, any walk of life. It doesn't matter what you practice. I want to hear, what do you believe? What do you practice? Why do you practice that? I had some really enriching conversations at work recently with a very, very devout Christian. And he fully he fully believes that in his understanding of his faith, it is the only right faith. And he honestly believes that everybody else will probably end up going to hell because that's what he's taught. And he does these weekly Bible studies. And he'll read the Word of God and try to reinterpret it and re-understanding it and reaffirming his belief in it. And I have so much respect for him for being so devout. I also respect the fact that even though he knows that I'm not a Christian, he has no problem with that. He believes in free will. He believes that I can make my own choice, just don't try to force it on him. How can we not all grasp that understanding and respect and acceptance of each other? We are all human beings. We're all living, breathing creatures. We're all trying to just live and be happy. Why do we have to step on each other's throats like that? We should be reaching out to each other with family and love and brotherhood and friendship, understanding and acceptance. We should not be attacking each other and ostracizing each other for being different. I just, yeah, really wanted this, blah, blah, blah. I hate when I stutter. I hate going, but I do sometimes. And I get very passionate about this because I really feel like we are to a point as a society where we can move beyond the hate and the misunderstanding. We don't have to point fingers. It is so easy in a world of electronics and the internet, information generation, with just information's everywhere, good information and bad information. Let's move past that for a second and let's realize that just because it's out there doesn't mean it's something to be attacked or analyzed down to the raw bones and the nitty gritty of it. So, as a person who researches, I encourage you to express yourself to others in a fashion that allows for the possibility of you being wrong. And at the same time, on the flip side of that, is those who receive the information accept the possibility that even though you think that that person's wrong, that does not mean what they have to say should not be considered or at least looked at. There's wisdom all around us, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's a thought concept that somebody came up with somewhere along the road. Somebody thought of something, they passed it down, maybe it got muddled or rewritten, or the concept had been evolved or changed based upon who it was told to. But at its core essence and concept, all of these religions and faiths, in my opinion, are just about connecting with the divine. And I'll probably make another video on it at some point where I talk about my concept and thought of how we can view the divine. But yeah, back to where I was trying to go with this video. Let's stop the hate. Let's stop the nasty comments. Let's reach out to each other and embrace each other as individuals. You know, just because you live a certain lifestyle or you have a certain set of beliefs does not mean other people are obligated to follow the same path as you. In the same breath, just because they're not obligated to follow your path doesn't mean they're obligated to like your path. I do feel like there is a deserved respect that should be given for others if it's not directly impeding your pursuit of your life and your way of living. For example, if you are doing things that are harming other individuals, I really think you need to stop. If you are doing things that are making others uncomfortable because it's out in front of them, that it's blocking their ability, if you are taking over a freaking park every weekend with loud music and blasting it and interrupting others people's peace, that to me is an issue. Be considerate of your neighbor, be considerate of your coworkers, be considerate of your family and your friends. Allow people to be themselves and do your best to find what's right for you. Anyway, I could go on for a while, but I just really wanted to touch upon the point of We're all humans. Let's act humane.